Hello everyone. This is basically just a hello, how are you kind of meeting. I'm going to go over the main basics of the class so that you get an idea of what's expected of you and you know, how to navigate the process. This class is a little bit different than I normally teach. In fact, this is the first time I've taught this particular way, which is called asynchronous, which means that there are no lessons. The main reason for that was very practical. I should be in Scotland like right now visiting my parents, but the COVID Gestapo wouldn't let me leave the country and the other COVID Gestapo wouldn't let me in. So between the two of them, I'm kind of screwed. But once you set something up as asynchronous, that's what it has to be, right? Because some of you chose the class because it didn't have a fixed time. So what that is going to mean is that there's going to be a lot more emphasis on you being in charge of your learning. So you're going to have to motivate yourself to, I would suggest, read each chapter from the textbook. You get it in WebAssign. Watch the videos that I've put out on those, and then do the homework. But the homework should be the last thing you do, because the homework in WebAssign is just you testing to understand everything. And it's not a good idea to do the homework and say, okay, I don't know how to do that. I'll go and find out where it is in the book and then learn that bit and then come back and do question 2 and have to jump around and look for a video, because the next bit, you didn't know how to do that either. I mean, eventually you'd get everything done, but I don't think it helps for clear learning. So read the chapter, watch the videos on the chapter, and then do the homework. Now, that doesn't mean I won't be here. I will be physically here. And we do have an officer, but I had to pick a time. So I chose 12 p.m., but that doesn't mean that it has to be 12 p.m. because you might have other commitments. So all you need to do in those cases is shoot me an email and I'll set up a Zoom meeting and we'll just do it that way. There's one thing I would like to ask your permission, not just for your benefit, but for all the other people's benefit. Can I take or save these Zoom conversations, meetings, whatever you want to call them, so that they can be put onto Canvas? So that if you forgot what I said, you can go back and look at it. So that's your benefit. And people who don't make it can also look them up. So if I get anyone who is uncomfortable with that, and you are totally, completely entitled to be uncomfortable with that, then you will just tell me and I won't do it. That's basically it. It's physically, well, for me, it's physically impossible to cut out Olivia, even if I wanted to, right? So if Olivia doesn't like that, hard luck. I can't do anything about it. Okay, so I'm going to work on the you opt out principle, right? So you don't need to do it right now, because that would be infringing your privacy. But if you shoot me an email and say, I don't really like my video being shown, then we'll do that, right? Okay, let's get started then. We have a lot to do. I'm going to play about with the technology, which is always fun. And I am going to go, I think, to Canvas first. Let me check it. Make sure I'm in Canvas. Come on, Canvas. Yes, here we are. Okay, so I think if I click on this, are you looking at our Math 146 Canvas site? Yay, great. Okay, so hopefully everybody here has already done this, but this is going to be your main go-to place for any kind of resource that you're looking for. I suggest that you click on the syllabus and read through all the good stuff. Let me get to this guy. This basically tells you how the 7 weeks of this course are going to work. If you look here, this week, you have until Sunday, midnight on Sunday, to do the Get Started in WebAssign. Takes about 10 minutes, I think. And these 3 sections from chapter 2. So you're going to be reading chapter 2 in the book And then you're going to be looking at types of variables, exploring data, and things called numerical summaries. And then week 2, week 3, your midterm is on Monday, the 2nd of August. And this is a time slot 1 to 4. The day is fixed. It has to be Monday just to keep things secure, and nobody cheats that way. But the time is flexible. So if you want to start at 10 or start at 5 or 3 or whatever, 2:30, don't do 2:30, that'd be weird. But you know, you can do that. All that's going to happen is that your test and your midterm and your final are going to be on WebAssign. WebAssign has a feature that the minute you click on it, the clock ticks, and you've got 3 hours from the minute you click on it to it disappears on you. So that way I can make it 7 o'clock or 4 o'clock, and it won't matter. You're all getting 3 hours, whatever way you do it. You also will be showing me the working for some of these questions. The more questions you can show me the working for, the better, because WebAssign just says you're right or you're wrong. For some questions, that's fine. But in lots of situations, there is physical numbers, calculations, things like that. And if I can see what they are, if you made a silly mistake and wrote down, I don't know, 23 when you meant to write 2.3, if I can see it, I can give you partial credit. Or if you only know how to do the beginning of the question, but you can't remember how to finish it, if you do half the question, you get half the points, right? So working is useful for partial credit. So on the Canvas, there are videos that show you how you can take your physical paper, right, where you've written all your working, and turn it into a PDF. And people who've had me, Tara and James, you know the process, so it won't really be anything new to you. But for some of you, it might be new. So you might want to look ahead of the game just to get used to it. Now, winding back on the yes.
So this round, when we're doing they won't be like what we were doing before, where we were on the Zoom. It'll just be on WebAssign. So we'll just log into WebAssign and then start the test.
No, good question. You'll still be on Zoom. But you'll be logged into WebAssign. The reason I need to see you in Zoom is I need to make sure it's not your big sister next to you telling you the answer, right? So physically, I don't even know if you've got a big sister, Tara, but that's what will happen. It'll be a really long day for me because it means I'll be sitting here watching you because you'll be doing your test at various times. But it's no biggie for me because I'll be grading other people's tests while that's happening, so it won't be a wasted day for me.
And then
but you need to be there.
And then my other question is, do we need to let you know? Because I already know that the Thursday that the final's on, because of the way the microbiology is working, everything she's doing is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Has something to do with how the school's having some of us come back to in person.
Oh God, so, that's a nightmare.
So do you want to let you know when we get closer to the final? So then that way
I have no memory. I have no memory, Tara. So you will tell me like few days before, and then I'll just write down, okay, Tara's going to be joining me at 5 or Tara's going to be joining me at 12 or whatever time, right?
Okay, perfect.
And that way I'll know it. Okay, so let's return back to what you should still be looking at, which is the Canvas one. There are 3 main ways that you're going to get your points. 25% of your grade is on your homework from WebAssign. 35% is on your midterm exam and 40% is on your final. So that's the only ways that you can get grade. There isn't any participation grade because if you're asynchronous, you're not meant to be here. But I do give extra credit. If you complete your homework, every one of those, there's a 0.5% extra credit. So there's actually 3.5% extra credit. Now, if you have to ask for an extension, I will give you one, but you will lose the 0.5% for that particular homework. And the homework's every Sunday midnight. Homework 1, which is these guys. Homework 2 is these guys. 3, 4. There we go. Homework 7, the last guy. Right. So if you do your homework and you keep to schedule, even if you got every single homework question wrong, which you won't because you get 5 shots, so I'm sure you're going to get a lot of them right, you're still going to be guaranteed 3.5% extra credit. So that's a little buffer just to get started. Right. Any questions about the course assignment and WebAssign? Anything about that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you just repeat the extra credit?
Yeah.
Like how that's
yeah, how it works? Yeah. If you complete and don't ask for an extension on homework 1, right? These 3 guys here, you will get 0.5% added on to your grade as an extra credit. And then
okay.
homework 2, 0.5%, another half, right? If you do the whole set, you'll get 3.5% extra credit. And that's added on to your grade at the end. So if you got 74%, it would turn into 77.5%, for example. Right? That could be the difference between passing and not. So it's good to.
I have one more question on that. So is it because you're doing asynchronous this time? Is there gonna be more stuff on Canvas for each of the assignments, or is it only if you message us? And can I beg and plead for you to remind us, because I really hate WebAssign for due dates.
You got it. This is in Canvas, so you just got to write this down in paper somewhere. I probably organized my life in a week chunk, right? So this week, Sunday midnight is the end of the week, and you've got a list of these 3 guys here, and we're going to move over to WebAssign after this summary is finished. Then you make sure that you've got all those homework questions done, right? And then week 2, new thing, week 3, all the way through. So that's how I would organize my life if I was doing it. Now, what else? We got that done, yeah. There's basically what I mentioned about the percentages, and there's just more details. There's your grade GPA, and the usual kind of stuff to do with absences and things. Now, I haven't made any real hard plans to do this because it is asynchronous. It really depends on whether I get a demand for it. I do have my officer at 12 and turn up for that and ask any questions. It's in Canvas. It's the same Zoom link. But I may add another time slot so that if 12 doesn't work for you, maybe 3 would, something like that. Or I may just do topics like, hey guys, tomorrow I'm going to do numerical summaries. If you're interested, drop in. If you're not, watch the video some other time, right? The advantage of dropping in is that you can ask questions, or that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. As I say, it depends on demand. If it's not very helpful, then I won't do it. If you feel it's going to be helpful, then I'll choose to do it. But that's not really fixed yet. So let me return. Oops, I didn't mean that. Let's return the way that you have to. Right, you should still be looking at the main Canvas screen now. Let's show you what else is here. WebAssign, very, very important. You've got to join it as soon as you can, because this Sunday will rush up on you, and a whole week's worth of homework will have gone, and you've lost a lot of points without even knowing it. So if you click on that, this for this particular class, this is my first class, and that's the code you use. And there's a little instructions here that you follow. So hopefully you've done that. If you've done WebAssign before, it's exactly as always. And here's videos on how to use Zoom. That's the schedule that I just did a minute ago. There's my officer. So if you click on that, there, if you click on this guy here, it will take you to this meeting, or the officer version of. And here are, not all of them, because I'm still working on them, because this isn't the way I typically teach, but here is the main chunk of videos. So let's suppose you're interested in chapter 2, and you click on that. You get to see some videos. There's one on numerical summaries. Here's one on how to use your TI-84. Your TI-84 is very helpful, especially in the early weeks, because it allows you to calculate quickly things like means and standard deviations. If you had to do it by hand, it would be really laborious. Anyway, if you click on this, a really cool video appears. I'm saying it's a really cool video, would I know, right? So, if you wind back, you notice that chapter 2 in this case has another thing here called lecture notes, and the lecture notes are different. These are PDFs where I essentially put summaries of the kind of things that would be helpful. So there are videos and there are lecture notes. And every chapter has a video section and some lecture notes. So these are just resources for you. So you've read chapter 2, hopefully looked at my notes as well, and you've watched the videos, and now you're ready to start the homework. And that'll be like the end of the line, because hopefully by then you'll understand it. And what's missing, I think it's 11 and 12 or 11, 12 and 13. If you go a little bit further, people who like to see what tests look like and so on, here's some stuff here. And here is an extra credit assignment, another extra credit, 1.5% extra. And click on that and it tells you what you need to do. That is actually not the right one. I'm glad I clicked on that. That was a placeholder. Don't look at that until I fixed it. Essentially what you're going to do, what that should have said, is very brief. It says, I want you to write down 3 pages of anything. You can get your kid to draw pictures. You can do, hello, my name, Robert. And then you're going to do Adobe Scan or some other thing, turn it into a PDF and send it to me. So it's basically a way of getting you to practice uploading your working without having any working, right? So that's what that should have said, but evidently I put the wrong line in. So if you've done, if any of you, I know 2 of you have because you've had me before, but if any of the others ever had to take their work and take pictures on it on your phone and convert it to PDF? Okay, then you are learning a new skill. Cool. That's what you're going to do there. And I'll take a little note to myself. Fix the link. And then you have all the good student support stuff. Okay, any questions about what we've covered so far? Because I'm now going to move on to WebAssign after this. You feel comfortable? Okay.
There's a question in the chat.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, if you, I don't, where the heck is chat? I don't get to see it.
It just asks if the tests are open book or not.
Tests are open book, yes. Anything that you've physically printed, you are going to be able to use. On the day of the midterm, Canvas will disappear on you totally. So there won't be, you can't go back and look at Canvas videos or help, they'll disappear. And WebAssign homeworks will disappear. So if you want to make it open book, well, you do want to make it open book, but you're going to be the person in charge of what you have, which will be whatever you've decided to write down or print. So in that sense, it is open. Any other questions? If someone else, if someone else could keep track of the chat, that would help me as well. Yeah.
I actually have to go. Is there anything that I need
all the
before
big stuff? All the big stuff's covered. All I'm going to do, the bit you're going to miss, and you can watch this video, you can't in case you think you want to see it, is that we'll show you WebAssign, make sure you join, and start the homework. Right?
Already done.
Pretty
Perfect.
much. Okay. Any other questions before I move on?
Nope, I'm out of here to go to lab. Wish me luck.
Okay. Bye, Charles.
Class in a year. Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Right. Let's move on. Right. Are you looking at Cengage WebAssign page now? Oh, technology's been my friend. Right. Once you have joined WebAssign, you get, well, wind back a little bit. You get, I think it's still 7 days free, isn't it? Somebody tell me about that. When you go into WebAssign, it gives you can have 7 days before you need to pay. Nobody knows. James, you're in WebAssign. What does it say?
I don't know. I have a subscription, so it
Oh, so it's
keeps
there
going.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it takes 10 days.
Okay, so you got Tina saying you've got 10 days. So you know, financial aid is never fast. So if you're short of money, don't say, well, I can't afford to buy it. Use the 10 days. Your financial aid hopefully will have came in by then, and then you can buy it. Okay, so that's not an issue. So make that nice and clear. You do not need to pay up front for at least 7, maybe as long as 10 days. And that'll get you well into the course. And then by that time,
Actually,
your financial aid.
14 days.
Well, it's getting
because
better.
I got like 9 days left and I signed up for it a couple days ago.
Perfect. And all it'll do is at the end, it will say, hey, you better pay up or we'll stop. Right, so you'll know that you have to do it. Do you have to give credit card locking in information or any information like that at all? Tina, can you remember?
I haven't purchased it, but when I signed up, it just says I have 10 days left, and that's about it. Yeah.
So you don't even need to lock in a credit card and then think, oh God, they're going to take the money off and then whatever. And they will kick you out, of course, if you don't pay at the end of that period. But let's have a look at it. So when you look at it, it's got a lot of stuff. I'm going to zoom down to the bottom. There's your textbook. So you don't need to physically buy one. Although if you're old school like me, you might, because I just find it comforting to have paper that you can open and close, but that's me. This could be risky, but I'll try it. When you click on it, it's a kind of like a PDF, but it's a little bit more cumbersome than that. You can't scroll through the whole book at once. It kind of, I don't know what. Oh, yeah. So it worked. So there's chapter 2.
So if I have physical book, I could actually use that as an open book during midterm and final, correct?
Yes, it's a piece of paper. It's allowed.
Okay.
So you read through this. Well, I wouldn't read there, but if you click back, you scroll through the sentence, and it tells you all sorts of cool stuff. Right. For instance, there's how to calculate the mean. You add up all the numbers and divide by how many. Just randomly stopped at that. So that is your ebook. It's basically the same thing as your textbook. Don't know that's down there, but go away. And there are other features over here where it keeps track of what you're doing and how well you're doing it. Try that. Go back home. I'm a bit frightened. Nothing nasty has happened. Oh, Okay. Something nasty's happened. Well, it did pretty good. There we go. Now, what does your homework look like? Well, it's like chronological order. You see the due dates are here. So that's the ones that I had in that, you know, earlier today when we showed you the list. And there's getting started in WebAssign. And there's the sections that you need to have covered by this Sunday, midnight, essentially. Let's pick somebody, types of variable. Is it loading up or did I click it enough? Types of variable. There we go. And what you get is a whole load of questions. All homeworks are out of 100. The 100 just means 100%. And you get questions. And you get 5 shots at every question, which does mean that if you've only been given 2 choices, that you're probably going to do it in less than 5 shots. That would be my guesstimate. Not all questions by any means are going to be as simple as that, right? But for the following variables, indicate whether the variable is categorical or quantitative. Well, might as well talk about that. 2 main kinds of data, numbers and things that ain't numbers. When you are numbers, you're quantitative, like a quantity, quantitative. And when you ain't a number, you're categorical. So if you were collecting data and it was, what's your favorite color? People would be saying red, blue, green. Or what's your football team? You know, Seahawks, right? Things like that. That's categorical. If you said, what's your age? 65, then that would be numerical, right? Seems pretty simple. It is, but there are nuances. Some numbers are not numerical. You might think, how does that work? Well, some numbers are really codes. They don't need to be numbers. They could be ABCs. Your social security number is a number, but it is treated as categorical data. And the reason for that is that your social security could have been social security letters. Couldn't the Americans at the start decide that your social security number was going to be a code ABB 42C? Right? They could have done that. The way you tell, the way I tell, is I imagine getting a lot of social security numbers and I find the average of them. And I say to myself, does that average mean anything sensible? And if you took 10 people's social security numbers and you found out that the average social security number was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, would you agree that that is irrelevant? It means nothing. Whereas if I got 10 people and I did the average of their age, wouldn't that at least tell me like the typical person in that group? Right. I'll give you another example of categorical data, which is numbers. Telephone numbers. Would you agree if you got 10 people's telephone numbers and you found the average telephone number, would it have any sensible meaning? No, right? So you might group telephone numbers by all the ones that start with 360, right? And then the next group might be all the telephone numbers that start with, I don't know, 361 or something, right? Can you see that you could group them, put them into categories, hence the name, categorical data, right? And that might mean something. Okay, well, this bunch of people all have 360 at the front, right? Typical categorical are things like red, blue, green. 5 people said they like red, 12 said blue. Right? And then quantitative, since we're on this, just a little lesson. There are 2 kinds of numbers in the world as far as statistics is concerned. One is nominal and, well, I'll rephrase that. One of them is continuous and one is discrete, although there are other terms. Discrete numbers are things like how many kids in your family? 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't get 1.2 kid. How many coins in your pocket is discrete? How many days have you been sick with COVID? Hopefully 0, but whatever, it's a number. But that is discrete. You can only have 1 or 2. You can't have anything between those. Continuous data would be numbers where you can take a number like 1 or 2, but you can also take any number between them. Temperature, for instance. Couldn't the temperature be 82.12345 if you did a really accurate thermometer? It's not just 82 or 83. So, I mean, that's the kind of thing you're going to read in the textbook, so that you don't just go, oh, I'm lazy, I'm picking that one, and then I'm going to say submit my answer. And I got lucky and it was right. If I got it wrong, wouldn't I pick the other one and I'd get it right? So don't do that. But can you see that in these questions here, there is not going to be any working. So if these questions, and there will be ones like this in the midterm, all you're going to get is one shot and you pick the right one. And I'm a gambler. So I figure out if I pick the middle one, won't I probably get 1 out of 3 right just by sheer luck? Anybody taking a bet on that? Well, I don't know what I'm going to get. Let's find out. And I got 1 out of 3. Not a big surprise. Now, if I got 3 out of 3, I would have been amazed because I was just guessing. So you work through the stuff, nothing particularly interesting is happening until you get to this thing called SALT. WebAssign has a really cool feature. It's a piece of software called SALT. I think S stands for statistics. I couldn't tell you what the other 3 letters are, but I guess you could find out. So here is a table summarizing the frequency of seatbelt usage. So this is categorical data. 109 people never wear a seatbelt. 1,425 always. And it says here what percentage of 12th grade students, of course they're immoral, who drive, said that they always wear a seatbelt. Well, I wouldn't even bother with that. Wouldn't you just take this number and divide it by the total and then turn it into percentage? But you could make one of these pictures. And first you fill in all these guys. So I'm no idea what the answers to these are. So I'm just putting in random digits. Let's suppose that's your answers and all the other ones. You then make one of these guys, which is called a bar chart. Now, if I hit use SALT, you see the data is already in SALT, so I don't need to type anything in. And then I can do all sorts of things. Let's go for charts. And let's go for a bar chart. And the variable is wear seatbelts. Now, you see that nice pretty picture I got there? One of the pictures that was in the homework will look just like that one, and that's the one you would choose. Do you see SALT can make bar charts for you really quickly? So it's a cool little piece of software. Now, if I changed it to relative frequency and recalculate, what this does is, do you notice that the side here is a decimal between, in this case, 0 to 0.55? If you think of that as being a decimal version of the percentage, can you see that 55% roughly? Actually, if I click on it, it's 0.563, so I know it's 56.3%. I could then use that information. Okay, if I lost it. And I can remember, there it is. I put in 56.3. See, I could have used SALT to save me even doing the calculation if I really wanted to. Any questions so far about WebAssign? It's got what, I mean, have fun playing about with it. I can't remember what my picture looked like. I think it looked like that one, didn't it? This one here. I think it looked like that one. Oh no, might look like that one. I think it's that one. Let's find out. And am I good or am I good? It was that one. Now, let's suppose that you went through this and you're a little bit, if you click on that, it will allow you to read a part of the ebook. And if I click on this, maybe I'll get a little video. And you click on the video. It hasn't come up particularly well on mine, but that's probably there we go. There. There'll be a nice little video here, and although you can't hear it because the way Zoom is set up, it basically will take you through one of those questions. So, isn't that helpful? Another resource. Cool. So it's not just an ebook, it has embedded in it some videos, at least when it says watch it, it does. And if you hit read it, eventually, seatbelts for 12th graders, which is where that data came from. And I'm pretty sure that they changed the numbers. So you're not just going to copy what you see, but it gives you the gist of how you do it. Pretty cool. If you've not done WebAssign, it's reasonably interactive. What else? If you've got a question where there's 4 parts to it, and you do an answer for all 4, and 3 are right and 1's got the red X, you only need to fix the wrong one, right? You can leave the others as are. So it's not like you have to redo the questions over and over again. Again, I'm pretty sure I've covered all the obvious. The people who've done WebAssign, is there anything I've missed that's might be worth mentioning? Anything in WebAssign that's weird or you've came across you want to share?
I had something for like the first homework assignment where it's just getting started with WebAssign.
Yes.
On question number 6, it's saying I had 0 out of 5 submissions. It wasn't showing the box for where to enter. It was just all the areas were blank. And it's saying I haven't done any submissions, but it's also not letting me do anything on that question anymore.
Okay. So let's did you say it was question 6?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm on question 6 here. So you click here to begin.
Mm-hmm.
And then
yeah, so like that
2
box
plus,
right there wasn't
right.
showing for me.
Oh.
And so since I didn't
you couldn't
see the
put
box,
that in.
yeah, so since I didn't see the box, I just hit submit and that didn't work. So I hit skip and I did that throughout the question. And it's not saying I actually submitted anything. It's saying 0 out of 5 submissions, but it's also not letting me go back and do anything on the question.
Right. So who's talking here, Hannah?
Yeah.
It might be the browsers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
what browser are you using, Hannah?
I was originally using Safari and then I tried switching over to Chrome. But it's not letting me do anything, but I was able to see the box in Chrome, but the question was already done too. So
I think, yeah, so stick to Chrome as the first piece of the device, Hannah, and I will go in. It won't be right away because I have another meeting straight after this, but sometime in 2 or so hours from now, I will go in and just reset that question for you.
okay.
So that you can actually type numbers into a box, but that's good. So Chrome is good. Safari sounds like it's not. James, what are you using? You using Chrome?
I use Edge or Chrome. Actually, if you use Edge, Chrome, and Brave, they're actually kind of the same browser. They just, changed
Different
them up so
labels.
they should be the same. Safari and Firefox are the only ones that are
Dodgy.
their own make.
Okay. So my general advice then is Chrome or Edge. If you've got a Mac, you can still get Chrome, correct?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Right. So we'll just say Chrome. That'll probably be easier for everyone because I don't know what kind of machine. Because you might even be using an Android, in which case you'd need Chrome.